Okay, so this time, no, I just want to give more emphasis on the correlation and other one, correlation and regression analysis. Ano? Correlation and regression analysis, no? In public administration, no, research, understanding the relationship among variable is critical, no, for evidence-based policy making. Correlation and regression analysis are two fundamental statistics tools or statistical tools that allow scholars, no, students, and practitioners to quantify, no, and model this relationship. Correlation measures the strength. Take note, ha? Correlations measure the strength and direction of association between two variables, while regression goes further by modeling how a dependent variable changes in response to one or more independent variables. Now, correlation analysis, no, evaluates how closely two quantitative variables move together. So the most common measure is the person correlation coefficient, which range from -1 to +1. Positive correlation means that as one variable increases, the other also increases. So higher public spending may correlate with higher citizen satisfaction, and that is positive correlation. Negative correlation means that as one variable increases, the other decreases. Let's say higher unemployment might correlate with lower tax revenue. So a value near zero implies little or no linear relationship. So for doctoral student like you in public administration, correlation is essential in exploring relationships such as, let's say, budget allocation and service delivery outcomes, or citizen participation rates and policy compliance, or e-governance adoption and administrative efficiency. Correlation helps identify potential linkages before deeper causal modeling. Correlation does not imply causation, as what our video presentation mentioned. The two variables may correlate due to coincidence, no? Variables or hidden variables or external factors. Let's say, for example, no? A positive correlation between infrastructure spending and employment might be confounded by overall economic growth. No? Recognizing these limitations prevents misinterpretation of the policy impacts. Now, regression analysis extend correlation by predicting and explaining the relationship between a dependent o yung response variable and one or more independent variables or yung predictor. The simplest form is simple linear regression. No? So yung y is equal to a plus bx plus ano, di ba? Where y is the dependent variable, x is the independent variable, a is the intercept, b is the slope, and d is the error term. Now, we have, of course, multiple regression. No? In real world public administration, no, outcomes rarely depend on a single factor. Now, multi-regression incorporates several independent variables to estimate, no, their individual and combined effects on an outcome, such as modeling how education level, income, and government program participation affect health outcomes. No? So we have, in regression, we have linear regression, logistic regression, time series regression, and hierarchical multi-level regression. When we say linear regression, that is assumes a straight line relationship. When we say logistic regression, it used when the dependent variable is categorical. Ibig sabihin, whether a city adopts a policy, yes or no question. That is logistic. No? When we say time series regression, analyze trends over time, useful forecasting budgets or population growth. So pag ganon, time series regression. But if we wanted to handle data nested with groups, like citizen without municipalities, we use hierarchical or multi-level regression. Now, So, so how will be able to apply this regression to public administration? Number one, predicting service delivery efficiency based on staffing ratios, technology adoption, and budget size. Or estimating the impact of transparency measures on corruption perception across regions. Or possibly forecasting tax revenue based on economic indicators. We have some assumptions in diagnostic in regression analysis. Now, regression requires checking assumptions, linearity, independence of errors, homoscedasticity, and normality of residuals. No? So violation can lead to bias estimates. Public administration students must apply diagnostic tests. Pwedeng Durbin-Watson for autocorrelation, variance inflation factor for multicollinearity to ensure model validity. So, to interpret the results of the regression analysis, coefficient B, size and direction of effect, p-value, the statistical significance, and the R-squared, or coefficient of determination, that is proportion of variance explained by the model, indicating predictive power. Now, so policy and decision-making value. Take note, regression enables administrators to simulate policy scenarios, allocate resources effectively, and forecast program outcomes, directly supporting evidence-based governance and strategic planning. So ethical and practical consideration, you as a researcher must avoid overfitting, maintain data privacy, and communicate finding responsibly. Transparent reporting of methods and limitation foster public trust. So, correlation and regression are cornerstones analytical methods in public administration research. Correlation, again, measures the strength and direction of association between variables, providing initial insights into potential linkages, but not causation. Regression analysis goes further, modeling and predicting how dependent variable respond to one or more independent variables. Enabling policy forecasting and evidence-based decision. You as doctoral researcher students must understand the assumptions, diagnostic tests, and ethical implication of these tools to draw valid, actionable conclusion for governance and public policy. So, the expanded correlation example, I just want to give you an example of an expanded correlation example. So as I mentioned, citizen satisfaction and response time. May mga sample yan na pwede nyo gawin. A person correlation can reveal whether faster processing of business permit is associated with citizen satisfaction score across municipalities. Let's say social media engagement and public awareness. Ganun, let's say, for example, ang study ninyo. So, an analysis of local government Facebook posts and survey data can measure how the frequency of online updates correlates with citizen awareness of disaster preparedness plan. Pwede namang public health spending in life expectancy. So, examining provincial data can show a positive correlation between per capita health expenditure and average life expectancy, helping justify budget allocation, or crime rate and underemployment. So correlating monthly crisis or possible correlating monthly crime, statistics with underemployment rates can help agency anticipate spikes in incidents when joblessness rises. That is an example for the correlation. How about an example of a regression analysis? Again, as what we discussed earlier, forecasting tax revenue. A multiple linear regression can predict municipal tax collection using predictors such as local GDP growth, population density, and employment levels. Another is evaluating anti-poverty programs. Let's say, for example, logistic regression can estimate the probability that household rise above the poverty line based on participation in conditional cash transfer programs, educational level, and household size. Okay. Then, sorry. Another example, of course, is disaster response efficiency. Let's say, no? Uh, Time series regression can model how investment in early warning systems affect average evacuation times during typhoon seasons. No? Another is evaluating anti-poverty programs. No? Logistic regression can estimate the probability that household rise above the poverty line based on participation in conditional cash transfer programs, education level, and household size. Okay. Then another example, of course, is e-governance adoption. Because right now, no, I used to be the speaker of Civil Service Commission for the digital governance training of all government agency. We done it already last Monday up to Wednesday. No? So e-governance adoption, no? A hierarchical, multi-level regression could assess how regional ICT infrastructure and local leadership style influence the likelihood of adopting online licensing system across cities. Or let's say, for example, you are in the public transportation usage. No? A multiple regression might quantify how fare levels, service frequency, and median income predict daily ridership in metropolitan transit system. Let's say you are in the environmental policy impact. No? Using panel data regression, researchers can evaluate how air quality regulations and industrial activity jointly affect annual pollution level across provinces. And right now, corruption issues, no? Corruption issues, you may create research related to corruption perception and transparency measures. This is the regression can estimate how transparency portal, citizen complaints hotlines, and audit scores contribute to changes in corruption perception indices over time. So I just want to give you a tip, no? As doctoral for public administration student, pair correlation with visualization. No? You may, I will encourage students not to use pair correlation with visualization. Scatter plots help detect non-linear relationship or outliers, or integrate control variables in regression, no? Such as policy or political stability or economic growth to isolate true policy effects, or translate findings into policy recommendation. Let's say, for example, showing the 1% increase in ICT budget leads to a measurable gain in service delivery efficiency. So, I believe, no, through applying correlation to identify significant association and regression to explain and forecast outcomes, our public administrator can make data-driven decisions or on taxation, health, disaster preparedness, and digital governance. And these examples underscore the versatility of these statistical tools in designing policies that are both evidence-based and impactful. No?